Hey, what's going on, guys? Tropical Fish Guy here. Today we're going to be talking about a very important topic: when and how to clean your hang-on back fish tank filter. Okay, so you bought the fish tank filter, you set it up, it's been a while, and you're like, am I supposed to be cleaning this, or when am I supposed to be doing it, and how do I do it, right? So today we're going to be talking about both those topics, but first let's talk about when. Okay, when do you change it? So the best way to know, and everyone says something different, right? If you talk to anybody, they say, oh, once a month change it. Oh, change it when you're not doing, alternate, cleaning the tank and then changing the filter. But this is the eyeball test of when to change your filter, and when it's time. I've got one here that I'm going to change, and when it's time, I'll show you how to change it. But let's talk about when, okay, real quick. Let's look at these filters. And these are particular to hang-on back filters, okay, or power filters, you may call them. We used to call them power filters, hang-on back, whatever. But these are the ones we're talking about. So we're talking about the ones that hang on the back. Sorry about the mess, guys. Time to clean them. No, just kidding. So those kind, the aqua clears, these kind, the best kind you can have, in my opinion, are the aqua clears. I've got a couple of different kinds here. Let's see, that one doesn't have it. That's got a sponge filter. Sponge filters are just fine, but we're not talking about that today. We're talking about the hang-on back filters. These guys here, okay, that's a good picture of them. I recently, that's a good example of one right there. Okay, so hang-on back filters. You know what the hang-on back filters are? There's these here. Sorry about the big old mess. This is a working fish room, so let's see. So let's talk about when. Okay, when to change it. Okay, so when to change the filter is when you see a couple of different ways to tell. Okay, when you see the water, number one. Okay, the number one way is when the water flow is not very strong coming out of the filter area. Now this is pretty strong. It's not as strong as it could be. It's set at max, but that's okay. And the second way to tell is if the water is coming out of somewhere it shouldn't be. So if the water's coming out of the top, or obviously if it's leaking, change it right away. But if the water's coming out here, then it's time to change it. Okay, so in this filter, it's dirty. You can clean it and stuff. That's fine on the outside. But I'm talking about when it needs to be, cleaned out and changed and all that stuff. So this one, there's not too much coming out there. This one's fine, okay? Lots of good water flow. This is called intake tube here. I've got a little mesh guard here so that all the junk doesn't get sucked up into the filter itself. So that's the first stage right there. So I'll leave a link in there for that. But these filters here, the aqua clears, very good filters. I'll leave a link in the description below for those as well. That one's okay. Let's look over here to the hospital tanks here. I've got, in this hospital tank, I've got the beta here. He's real cool looking, and oh man, this is the one I showed y'all the other day. And if y'all haven't seen that video of when I brought him home, I'll link that one in the description below too, but he is really cool looking. I don't know if I can get a picture of him. Yeah, very nice looking. Regular old bell tail. Anyways, got a sponge filter, got a hang-on back filter. Now that right there is another sign you need to clean that, at least clean that intake tube there, right? But that is causing this to not flow as well. So something's wrong, right? So you got to clean it. That's a candidate for cleaning. The next, sorry about the dirty tanks though too. The next hospital tank here, I've got a couple of goldfish here, but we'll take a look. So definitely, it looks like, if you see water, the water flow is good, except look at that. A little bit's coming out of that area, but that's okay. What I would do here is I would just reach my hand in there and just clean off that intake. you know, and throw that away, you know, or feed that to the goldfish, right? So that one's all right. I'm not gonna mess with that one today. I'm not gonna mess with that one today either. So let's look over here, back over here to this one where I don't think I'm gonna mess with this one either, but this one here, like I showed you, this is the community tank with the neons and swordtails and stuff. And let me know what you want me to put in here because I need more fish in here, right? So leave me a comment. But that one here, it's flowing good. Not too much coming out where it's not supposed to be, so good. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. It's got that mesh filter I just showed you. But this one here, I'll show you. I will show you something. The big 75-gallon community tank, right? Got the rummy nose, got some gold barbs, got some, you know, tetras in there. Diamond tetras are very pretty. They're awesome. Black skirt tetras, very nice as well. Very nice. Got some serpes, got some gold barbs, got some low light tetras. Got a school of those. You know, my favorite are the rummy nose because they are fast. They like to school. They're the best schooling fish I've seen. Anyways, let's take a look at this. Okay, so this is an example of water not flowing properly. Look at that, water not flowing properly. Still not coming out of the things of the places where it's not supposed to come out, so that's okay. So I could, you know, ignore that for a day or two, but in this instance, I'm going to actually clean that one because that should not be like that. It could burn out the motor, you know, if it's like that. What's happening probably is that the intake tube is clogged, right, this filter. If I just remove that, I think everything will be cool. Let me try that first, but I will show you as an example of how to clean the AquaClear. And this is an AquaClear, what is this one? AquaClear 50. So I've got an AquaClear 50 on this 75-gallon, which is just doing just fine with these fish here, right? And I also got this power head right there, power head pushing some water. It's not doing much filtering. I only have that pre-filter in there so that would get clogged instead of the actual power head, so I don't have to take it apart and stuff. But side tangent, let's go ahead and clean this filter. So I'm gonna go ahead and unplug this filter here. Once I get it unplugged, I'll yank it out and I'll show you what it looks like. Before I yank it out, I want to grab that down there as well because it'll just fall to the bottom. What you need here is you need a couple of towels always, and you need a bucket of water to rinse off the filter stuff in there, filter media. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. All right, so yank the filter out. Okay. Got the little mesh screen. Just want to scrub this. So what you're going to need to clean it, all right, what you're going to need, and I'll take this off for now. So you twist this is the motor. You twist this off, okay, and it just comes off like that, okay? So let's set this aside for now, and then you can just dump this in here. But what you need for this is, and what you need to clean this whole thing, is a set of scrubber brushes. And I'll link this in the description or somewhere up there. But the scrubber brushes are going to clean off So you're just gonna want to see all this dirty stuff. I don't know if you can tell, but you can tell right there all over my hands. Yeah. On the inside. Yeah, look at that. Look how dirty that is, right? That's a bunch of fish goo right there. Yeah. That's the first thing you want to do. Now, if you don't have this, it's no big deal, but I'll leave these, the link in the description below. they really help out so you don't have to clean it as much, okay? Second thing is, you wanna pull this piece off right here, the intake valve, right? You just pull it out like this, okay? Now that's pretty dirty, you can tell, it's pretty ugly. So same thing, you wanna pull these apart. You might just have this one, and you'll see that this is gunked up in here. So you'll need to first use your hands and pull that apart. So it comes out like this. Probably what you'll have is this. I added this extra one, just to suck the water up from the bottom. But anyways, yours might look just like that, but it gets all dirty and stuff, right? I mean, nasty, right? So what you want to do, same old brush, right? And just scrub it. Dip it in there. And you might need a smaller one, so push it through like that. Look at that. It's starting, look how clean that is, right? It's starting to get clean. I mean, that's exactly what you needed right there, and I'm making a mess of my stand here, which I don't want to do. Okay, yeah. So same thing with this, look how dirty this one is, right? Stick it in the water, shake it out a little bit, and look how clean that is. Almost brand new, huh? Look at that, brand new. It's brand new. Now, the top here, right? Most likely, you're not gonna be able to clean the top all the way, but do the best you can. Get that clean there, and also, so you end up with this piece right there, right? That this is clean and this is pretty clean. You clean off the sides, but you end up with this. So you might have to take one of these smaller pieces and kind of bend it like this, and so where it goes up in there, and it cleans a little bit better. It's not going to be perfect. There you go. See how I bent that thing? Much better though, huh? Look at that. Much better, much cleaner. And you can work on it for a little while until you get it perfect, but I don't strive for perfection anymore. I strive for really good. Okay, anyways, that's there. Now the second thing, or the next thing, is the motor part, right? The motor part, this little thing called the impeller right here, is you can grab that with your fingers, or if you need little tweezers, but I just grab with the fingers. Now this gets slimy and stuff too, so you want to rinse that off. Scrub it off with one of these, just like that, as well. Okay, so that's a clean impeller. The thing twists, it turns, and it causes the water to flow through. Now, where the impeller goes, you want to clean that also, because that has a lot of nasty gunk in there, right? A lot of nasty gunk in there. And you can dip that in the water, it doesn't hurt anything. Just don't get the plug in the water. So that's good. And then you would gently put the impeller back in the hole, right? And it should turn just fine, right? Great. Next is the actual body of it, right? All right, the body. So clean off what you can from the bottom and from the top there. Use the big brush, right? Use the big brush there. And like I said, you can get it to perfection if you want to. I don't usually do it, but if you only have one tank, one or two tanks, then you can spend the time and do it. No big deal, right? Looks good anyway. And also in this cavity here, in this hole, you want to do that too, all right? You'll clean that out real good. Fine. Now, the main part of it is this right here. You want to grab this basket. Just pull this basket out. Pull this basket, okay? Dump that on. You'll see that this is pretty nasty here. So set this aside for now on your towel. And just scrub this one. You can scrub this with a towel or something, or if you want with this scrubbing brush. That's good enough. That's good enough. Like I said, you can make it all clean and stuff. You can, you know, pop this little plastic piece out here if you wanted to, and then clean all that stuff out right there. I don't usually get that involved, but if you're a perfectionist, that's how you want to do it. And go back to the meaty here. Now this sponge here, that is the main thing, right? The sponge. This thing is mechanical. It cleans all your filter, but it also holds a lot of bacteria. So clean that off, and look, this is the main part. You'll see this water get all nasty. It's because it's all in the sponge, right? And this sponge comes with the filter. All right, look at that. Look at how much dirtiness the water is. And this water is good for plants. If you got plants, they love this stuff. Okay, so wash it out real good. You can even rinse this underneath your tap. It doesn't hurt anything. You know, everyone says make sure it's dechlorinated, but you know, this dechlorinated water, that's fine. So, looks like that. Put that back on the bottom there. Of course, you want to take this basket, and you'll see that there's dirtiness on the sides and stuff. You know, clean the basket off. Clean the basket off real good. But mainly it's this right here. Mainly it's this right here. Put that back in the basket. And if you're running carbon, you want to replace this carbon, but for the sake of this video, let's pretend that I replaced it. Okay. Unzip this bag, or you can throw this away if you don't have any more carbon. Order you another one of these. I'll leave a link in the description below. If you have 2 of these, that's fine. Every now and then you can run carbon just to get chemicals out and stuff like that, but you don't have to have carbon all the time. Usually I have 2 of these, and that's just fine. But for now, I'm not going to use the carbon for chemical filtration. I'm just going to use it for biological. So, you know, bacteria grows on that too. Anyways, I'm going to take that basket, I'm going to stick it back in the housing. And I usually actually put some more stuff on top there, but that's okay. I'm going to put everything back together. This right here, this piece right here, goes on the inside. You push that. So it turns like this, right? Make sure it snaps real good and fits perfectly. I'm gonna take this, put this back in here, stick this back on, stick this back on, stick this back on. And you gotta be careful too, when you put this back in, you gotta hold it in the tank. Then take this, the motor, put it back the way you did on this, so you angle it, right? And that'll fall off all the time. You angle it, you could put this on first. You angle it and then twist it. You angle it, then twist it, okay? Let me show you again. So you put it this way, where it's parallel, and then you twist it, okay? That's when you know, and it doesn't come off, okay? Put the top back on. You could have cleaned the top. Clean the top or not, whatever. when you put this back in the tank, fill this back up with water, then put the top back on, and you're good to go. Let's see how it goes. Look at all this dirt. That's pretty crazy, huh? I might need a new one of these. All right, so we hung it back in there. I'm gonna stick this back into the bottom of that lift tube there. Let's fill this back up with water from the tank, or fresh water, whatever you want to do, but I'm just gonna grab some water from the tank and then fill that until it flows out. Try not to get too much duckweed in there, but duckweed will get in there. All right, so it flows out like that. Put the top back on. Set it to max. And then plug it back in. Once you plug it back in, it'll do some sucking and gurgling and stuff. And of course, my filter fell back down, so I'm gonna need another one. All right, so you'll hear it once it's plugged in. You'll see it. As long as that water line keeps going up, you're okay. You hear it gurgling and splackling, and you're like, hey, what's going on? Don't worry about it. As long as you filled up this water. And you can always, if it takes too long, open it back up, fill some more water in there. But you'll see it start coming out. Look there. There you go. Close that back up. Now, and I could have cleaned that a little bit better, obviously. But the inside is what counts, right? You'll see that the water is flowing perfectly as it should, right? No water is coming out where it shouldn't. The water level is perfectly fine down there. Look at that. You have just successfully, and the pre-filters or the screen is doing well. You can see the water coming back, filtering down. You have just successfully cleaned your filter. Check that out. Pretty cool, huh? That's the way it should flow. And I'll go ahead and clean all these other ones, but that's how you do it, folks. And you end up with a lot of good plant water there for everybody else. So guys, I hope this was helpful for you guys. Knowing when to change your power filter, hang on back filter, whatever you want to call it, and knowing how to do it is pretty important, I think. Usually maybe 2 or 3 months, whatever. You know, if you want to get real into it, maybe a month or so. And a lot of people say the best practice is to not do it when you're doing the water change, because you're taking a lot of bacteria out, which you are. And so you might get a little cloudiness in your water, but don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. It'll clear up in a few days, but I do it whenever I can. I mean, sometimes I do it when I do a water change, sometimes I do it when I don't do a water change. Just whenever it needs it, I do it. Anyways, give me a like for the YouTube thing, and subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. Share this with someone who needs to know about fish tank aquarium maintenance. And you know, as always, I really appreciate you guys. Thanks so much, really. If you consider being a member, be a member. What do you get for being a member? You get a thank you at the end of the video. So we'll put a membership up here one of these days, maybe $1 or $2 a month, whatever. But we'll put some extra stuff in there. But go to the website tropicalfishguide.com. Check out all our articles we got out there. Learn you something about fish. And definitely check out our merch at fishytees.net. I'll put a link up here and in the description below. Really appreciate it, guys. Peace out. Happy fish keeping. Thanks. I'm gonna take this poopy fish water here and water the plants with it. They'll love that. Yeah. Yeah, check that out, huh? You like the pond still? Give me a like for the pond. Yeah, check it out. Where's Big Boy at? He's around here somewhere. Good girl. Lots Where's she? Oh, I hope she didn't jump out.